Hi, I'm Jonathan Fanning here, founder of Entrepreneur Adventure, where we help aspiring entrepreneurs to experience business startup and business ownership firsthand. And we do this because there's a huge challenge in the United States today. Young people, 3 out of 4, 75% of young people say that at some point in their life they'd like to start a business. Less than 1 out of 70, 1 out of 70 people will end up building a company with at least one employee. And I have to think that those 3 out of 4 that say they want to don't have a dream of building a one-person operation. So something's broken. And as a young person, I remember being in high school, being in college, shortly after college and saying, I want to start a business, but how do I do it? What do I start? When do I start it? Where do I get money? Do I partner? Do I franchise? Do I buy? What to do? So in this video series, I want to share with you some of the solutions that I found on my quest. And I've started over a dozen businesses. Not all of them blew the doors off. A bunch of them failed. But it put me on a quest to say, what makes them work? What kind of business should I start? How do I make these decisions? And I started studying the best of the best of the best in the entrepreneurial world and said, who are they? What do they have in common? And now I want to share some of those answers with you on your quest. So let's start with one of the most critical questions for someone who's thinking of starting a business, and that is, what kind of business should I start? What kind of a business should I start? And maybe you're in high school, college, maybe you're, in your 20s and you're thinking of starting a business. Maybe you're older, you're thinking of starting a business. You might already have an idea. You may have no idea. You may have many ideas. I want to get to a series of questions that are beneath that one of what kind of business should I start. See, there's a question behind that one that says, what should I do with my life? And what business should I start is only a small part of the answer. What should I do with my life? And behind that one, there are 2 other questions. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through a model that the best of the best seem to use over and over again in answering this. And behind that, what should I do with my life, is, who am I and what do I stand for? Why is this so important? Who am I and what do I stand for? Why is that so critical to ask as an aspiring entrepreneur? Well, building a company is going to take energy, effort, learning, failure, mistakes, challenges. It might take money. It might take just everything you have, it may take. Who am I? What do I stand for? Is so critical to start asking at the beginning. I meet so many entrepreneurs, and I've been there myself, who didn't ask these 2 questions at the beginning, and they get into a business that isn't the right one for them. So let's walk you through the answer to this. The answer to this question is a model that we use in Entrepreneur Adventure, and I've used with leadership organizations, with Fortune 500 companies. It's a model that's very, very simple, but extremely powerful. Here's that model, and I'll give you a PDF at the bottom of this video so you can download and go through this, and a real quick exercise you can use. But it says, how do I use my talents and passions to serve? What am I going to do with my life? Who am I? What do I stand for? And it's answered by this model of, how am I going to use my talents and passions to serve? So let's walk through that. Talents. What are you unbelievable at? What are you gifted at? What do you do so well it almost comes second nature to you? It's a tough question for a lot of people. It was for me, because we tend to assume that other people are great at what we're good at. Something that comes easy to you, you figure other people must do it well. It must just come easy to everyone. I grew up math and science, analyzing things. Strategy came pretty easy to me. I just assumed everyone could handle that. I would try to tutor other people in math, and why don't they get it? Why don't they get it? That just makes sense. That's how it goes. Learning in certain ways came easy for me. Teaching something, taking something complicated and making it simple, came easy to me. What is it for you? So walk through, download the PDF at the bottom, and walk through, what are you very good at? You might need some help from a friend, from a family member, somebody who knows you well. But start making a list. And it may be a lot of things, maybe 10, 15 things. It doesn't have to be a musical instrument or a sport. People tend to think talents are sports, musical instruments, art. But a talent could be speaking. A talent could be listening. A talent could be analyzing. A talent could be reflecting and learning the lessons. A talent could be getting people to work together. Walt Disney, phenomenal example. And I do a talk called Lessons from the Legends for schools, high schools, colleges a lot of times. and lessons from the legends. Walt Disney to me is one of the legends in entrepreneurship and in changing the direction of a group of people. And Walt Disney, one of his talents actually was not in drawing cartoons. He stopped drawing the cartoons very early in his life. In his early 20s, he stopped drawing the cartoons. Yeah, he was the voice of Mickey Mouse for a while, but it wasn't by choice. Walt Disney's talent, one of his great talents, was telling a story. Was telling a story. And all the people that worked with him in the early days, even later, would say, Walt would talk about Pinocchio and he would get into character and he would tell that story and he would bring that story to life and with such realness, with such emotion, with such energy that the artists would say, we can do that, even though they thought it was impossible. We can do that. We can make that happen. We see the story. We see he had the vision and the ability to tell the story to make it come alive. So list all of the talents that you have, all the talents you can think of. Just brainstorm and add a couple throughout the day, throughout the next couple days. The next one is passion. Passion. What gives you energy? What would you jump out of bed in the middle of the night to do? What do you love? What makes you cry? What makes you laugh? What gives you energy? What feeds you? What would you do if no one ever paid you to do it? What are you passionate about? What do you just get so excited about? What gets your juices flowing? And for me, it's waking people up. It's helping make a difference in people's lives. I love to learn about the best of the best of the best. One of my passions. Walt Disney, back to lessons from the legends, had a passion for bringing people together and sharing an experience, sharing magical moments. In his movies, his cartoons, his theme parks, all were around that passion, bringing people together and giving people magical experiences. What are yours? Start making a list. What are the things you love? What are the things that make you crazy, that give you so much energy, you have to do something about it? So now you started a list of talents, you started a list of passions. The last category is serve. How can you serve? Now, I believe young people, teens, college age, 20s, have a lot more knowledge and wisdom than sometimes our culture gives them credit for. And I believe that you watching this, you want to make a difference in the world. You want to do something that leaves a ripple after you're gone. I like to ask myself the 100-year question. 100 years from now, what ripple effect will my life have had? And Teddy Roosevelt, it's actually inscripted on the wall of the Museum of Natural History in New York City. I'm going to paraphrase it, but he said that the credit, it's not the critic who counts. It's not the man who points out how the strong man stumbled or the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who spends himself in a worthy cause. Spends himself in a worthy cause. It's about serving a need, serving who and serving how. Let's use my example. Talents and passions of learning and teaching and speaking and waking people up and making a difference in their lives. Who can I serve and how? Well, I can speak to companies, I can speak to organizations, I can speak to colleges, I can speak to high schools. I can facilitate camps, I can create one of the businesses I founded, Entrepreneur Adventure. I can create organizations that help people to experience something that makes their eyes open up to unlimited possibilities. Talents and passions to serve who and how. Serve young people, serve college age people, serve adults. And how? By helping them see something different, by helping them learn something that they didn't know before, by bringing lessons from the legends to them so they see, you know what? That's Walt Disney again. Didn't always have it easy. When he was a young man, his father, Walt gets back from World War I, and he needs work. He's in his teens. His father says, I just bought a stake in this Ozell jelly factory. I got a job lined up for you. You need to make some money, Walt. You need to make some money. Walt said, Dad, I can't. I want to make cartoons. He's in his teens. He's not even 20 years old yet. But he knew his talents and passions. And he said, how can I serve the world with those and not just look for a way to make money? And that's right there is why this video and you going through this exercise is so critical. It's so critical. Don't start a business with the idea of how can I make money? I've done it. I've met so many entrepreneurs who have done it. Start a business with who am I? What do I stand for? answer the questions of how can I use my talents and passions to serve. So go through this exercise. List all your talents. List all your passions. Now list all the people that you could serve and how could you serve them. 3 separate exercises. Now, I want you to use the download to start writing some overlaps. What are some of the overlaps? And I'd like you to come up with at least three overlaps of businesses that you could create. Maybe they already exist in some way. Business that you could create using your unique talents, your passions to serve. Come up with at least 3. And then the next part of the exercise, and entrepreneurs, see, I believe one quality, and I've seen it over and over and over again, one quality that entrepreneurs who succeed have in common is they take action. They go and do. They go and make something happen. Once you have those 3 potential businesses that overlap your talents, passions, and how you can serve, I want you to find 3 business owners that line up with those businesses. Preferably one for each of the 3 businesses, but it could be 3 all in the same business. Find 3 that you can reach out to and communicate to. Maybe one of them is, maybe all of them are local, maybe one of them is local, maybe you have to email them, maybe you have to call them, but get in touch with them and find a way to ask them. Interview them. Maybe it's on the phone, maybe it's through email, maybe it's through Facebook, maybe it's through going to visit them, and ask them about this model of using their talents and passions to serve. And do they believe it? And what lessons can they share with you as you're getting started in your journey? Jonathan Fanning, founder of Entrepreneur Adventure. I hope that this serves you, and best of luck on your journey.